Please. We kept Chalobah and we sold Tomori. Man with the corn on his head. Oh, come on.
Oh, that one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
Welcome back to Blue Bloods Football, guys, with your host Hamlet here and the boy Zen's back at it again.
Yes. How's it going, guys?
Yes, let's go. So we're going to jump straight into the video, right? As you know, the Premier League is kicked off again, and international break was great, but we don't really care about that. It is what it is. But yeah, guys, we're here to speak about Chelsea. Also, just go into the issues surrounding Chelsea, or maybe even slight positives if we can find any. So
we can definitely find a
few. Awesome. We can see. We need one. Bro, we need one. Last game out against Nottingham Forest at home, we lose that game 1-0. I didn't watch it, you watched it. I remember you messaging me about it. I was so deep, bro. I was just like, I knew it, but I didn't want to know, you know. So yeah, lost that one 1-0 on the backing of a Caicedo mistake.
I had so many issues with Caicedo. Like I'm the optimist of the channel. I'll preface this by saying this. With the hype that came with Caicedo, I mean, the territory, you have to fill the shoes. And so you come into a position where everyone's raving about you. I think the least you could do is not make goal-conceding mistakes.
This is the second one because the penalty on his debut against West Ham.
Dude.
That's not looking good.
I can only hope that he bounces back from it, though. I think if he does, it'll speak a lot to his mentality, which, I mean, will be something to respect. But for now, play on the ball has been chilled, but I think it's just a thing of nerves and funny moments, and it leads to like horrible play. So
100%. I back that. I have the same kind of consensus on that, in the sense that I think he's a good dope player. I think there's a good player under there somewhere, and especially like when you mentioned the fact that, because I wasn't watching, like I said, I saw a message from this gent. He's like, Caicedo mistake goal. I'm like, mate. And then I saw the replay and stuff, and funny enough, like, and this is my gripe with Gallagher, for you Gallagher fans, not that I hate gents, but I'm gonna have to say, I just feel like having Gallagher next to Caicedo isn't the best for the team right now. I just never seen Gallagher as a pivot player. In my head, Enzo is best from that position, as creative as he is, and I understand why Poch is pushing him up front, because he's our biggest creative threat, arguably. I just think his best creativity actually comes from being a deeper line playmaker.
He bombs them diagonally very well.
You understand what I'm saying? Diagonally through whatever, and if he gets that little chance to come forward and chip it, he'll do that too. So putting him next to Caicedo in my head will ease things up and make him a bit more relaxed. Caicedo looks shaky, bro. That's my thing. I'm like, this guy looks like a fish out of water. There's a player in there somewhere, I feel, and it's down to nerves and stuff, like you mentioned. So a lot of people, for example, I'm going to throw the Thiago Sillllva thing in. I remember it was you who sent me the post about how there was a gent who was going online, saying that, you know, we're shoehorning Thiago Sillllva into the team and all our inefficiencies are due to him being there.
Which, can we just get on a level here?
Fair.
I don't think that's the view of this channel.
Okay, 100%.
So we agree that Thiago should be in there.
I agree, 100%. I'm gonna jump in there. Yes, I think the problems are bigger than that, bro. And people are like, we're playing a back three or back five because we're trying to fit in Thiago Sillllva, etc.
Not true.
It's not like that. So if I look at the defense, right, and it looks like we're playing a formation, which I hope is not going to be the case against Bournemouth, but it probably will. It's a formation that seems to accommodate a back three or back five, so to speak. They're always having spaces to fill in for wing backs to come back, and we're starting off with three central defenders. That's the thing. As much as Chilwell is pretty much left centre back, or a left back to cover for Chilwell, who's
far advanced.
he's in there, guys, penalty area, like that guy's
guns the line.
That's the thing, and he's not coming back down a lot of the time. He can't make it, it's too far. Obviously, a defenders like Thiago Sillllva came out and defended the team and himself, saying that no, if you look closely, we started with a back four. And this was the case. It all comes back to Poch for me. Right? And my chat is not like dash the coach now, like I said previously. No. My chat is that I think we have decent players in this team, and he's not using them to their best capabilities, especially not to the capabilities that he showed in preseason, at least.
Okay, let's name them.
Okay, fair. So starting from the defense, right? I think starting with the back three is holding us back in terms of the fact that we could do a lot more with our fullbacks, for example, in Gusto or James when he was there, and Chilwell being a fullback traditionally, which frees up space to have a decent winger. ahead of him,
Okay,
as opposed to just using Chilwell as that left side.
True.
Inverted, like, dude, he's not even like a left, it's like a left side inverted. Like, he's like up there with Jackson at times. It's actually a bit mad. And then we also at the same time forcing Enzo forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in that sense, I think if we should use the traditional back four, a nice static, decent back four, keep Cole in there. He's been doing well. He's looking confident. Thiago Sillllva or Disasi, change between the two. Disasi, dude, I won't lie. At the beginning, I was on the tangent of this man is looking to be on fraud watch, in my opinion.
I'm never convinced about
Not convinced.
Disasi, to be honest.
Chalobah versus Disasi. You think it's, you know what's funny? The man even dropped the mic. You know what's funny? This guy was not feeling Chalobah at all. That's the funniest thing. So I'm like, Chalobah is not looking too bad right now.
Please, we kept Chalobah and we sold Tomori. Man with the corn on his head.
Oh, that one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
Okay, in all fairness to the guy, that blonde braid dread thing was looking madness.
He's going personal. Guy's even going for his hair.
Life.
Oh,
These dreads boys, they need to relax. Even
Bro,
with the Travis Scotts, but they need to relax.
80% of the squad, bro. That's the thing. Really.
But
Braid FC.
shame. At least Malo does his thing. It looks kind of cool.
Clean, eh?
Still it does thing.
Looks like a cartel boy.
I don't like Chalobah or Disasi. I think they.
It's like both of them dash. Yeah, keep going.
I would say for the sake of depth, keep them, and for the sake of consistency and just holding things together. Because if we dash them realistically, like,
Oh my god, Fofana's out, bro,
Literally
for the season. So, and it's so unfortunate with him, eh? He was that guy to take over Thiago Sillva's spots in that RCB position.
Yeah.
So that's mad unfortunate, but yeah,
So,
no.
I'm a proponent for Wes. I'm a proponent for Thiago. I think Disasi and Chalobah, they don't start for me. They good backup options. I think on the ball they're a bit shaky. I think Disasi is quite hot-headed, and
break top that guy. Hey?
Yeah, I think that lack of stability in just not knowing what he's about to do next maybe gives me some sort of worry. So.
Dude, on top of that, if I were to jump in quickly and throw in Sanchez, his friend, oh dude, I can't trust this guy. Hey, Sanchez as a keeper, and my worry was getting him. I'm like, this guy barely starts for Brighton.
Gotcha.
He was Brighton's second place keeper. Now we're jumping in and buying this guy, making him our first place keeper. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe we're underestimating the keeper's job in the sense that, dude, just make some saves. Just do average. Average keepers could work in a really good team. If the rest of the team's good, the defense is great, average keeper could kind of get away with things. Bro, he's getting exposed. Well, actually, not so much. He's not getting exposed that much. That's the issue. So when he doesn't make saves, bro. Like I've barely seen this guy save. You know what I mean? And even in the Carabao Cup game, which none of us could watch because it wasn't aired, I saw in the highlights when he caused a penalty because he's got this habit of jumping out to punch the ball, which is not bad for a keeper, but like timing is just off. This guy's swinging at players, bro, taking out his own man, other man, and it's just like cool. We saw it in like that micro example in that Carabao Cup game, and it's like, you have to look at these things. You have to look at people's habits and see like, what is this guy doing? You know what I mean? The thing is, I can't even say is there room for improvement. He just doesn't look like a keeper good enough to start for this team for me. I say start that Russian or Polish gent that we got and see what he can do. Just to experiment some stuff. But he's just pretty much. So what you saying?
I think with Sanchez, I think we got him with the mind that we're not trying to get someone spectacular. Obviously with all the transfers, we're trying to recuperate some rack, and the Kepa sale and then the swap for Sanchez, I think, is something that makes sense, especially because I don't think Sanchez is the worst. Like you're saying, an average keeper in a really good team, which is what we're trying to be, I suppose, cuts it. And to me, Sanchez is an average keeper. Granted, he has his moments, but I don't think the worst of him. I think he's okay.
Fair. He's a decent stopgap, I guess, for us without European football, etc. Next season, we got to do something.
Yeah.
This can't stand, bro. If I'm cross fingers, we make Europe, which I feel like we can. We got to do something about the situation. So let's move forward to the midfield, bro, because I want to ask you a question regarding Gallagher. How do you feel about Gallagher being in that? In the team, in the midfield, just Gallagher. Boom.
Okay. So my take on it is, Well, my take really hasn't changed, and I think it accords with a lot of Chelsea fans' takes in the sense that, you know, the question has to be asked, like, why does he start so consistently? Like,
and that's not even a lot of Chelsea fans, because everywhere I've gone and seen comments, people are backing this guy.
Oh, serious?
100%. And it's the same chat. It's the work rate thing. Work rate.
Yeah.
Gallagher.
I don't know. I think the rhetoric hasn't changed for me in the sense that technically he doesn't cut it by any means, but I think I'm warming up to him these days in the sense that, you know, at least you've got someone in there who, for all intents and purposes, I mean, on paper he shouldn't be as technically sound as Caicedo, yet I mean, he gets on the ball, he doesn't lose it, he doesn't concede chances.
Mate, you know what's funny? I have the opposite chat, because I feel like he gets on the ball and he does lose it. Okay, thing is, granted, I think he's a very safe player. He does not really take any chances, and I don't think that's what's needed. Not to say that every midfielder needs to be a forward-playing midfielder.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just not your job, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But granted, every time I see him on the ball, and that's my issue with him, he's a very play-it-safe player in the sense that this guy is sideways and backwards, and he just does not know how to receive the ball and turn and go forward, especially when he has space. He just wants to get rid of the ball as soon as possible.
Very
and
true.
His comfort level lies in
running after it.
Exactly. Off the ball, he's very comfortable and better off doing that. But even in possession, it's like this guy doesn't want to be on the ball. He runs away from when he can receive it. The best example, and where I saw it highlighted the most, was our first game, guys, against Liverpool, where people are like, no, Gallagher made the most tackles. I'm like, guys, listen, no one in that entire game in both teams had a CDM, so like, who else is going to make the tackle? Statistically, obviously it's going to be Gallagher. I mean, props for that, but still, I think he's got to offer more than just work rate for me.
No,
like
100%.
As important as it is important, it's great, but in a team of, you know what I mean, bro, we're not Crystal Palace, no offense, we're just not those guys. You gotta have more than just work rates, and I think, like I said before, having him next to Caicedo is just not helping Caicedo. It's leaking towards the rest of the team. And in that Liverpool game, it looked like there were times where Thiago Sillllva would get the ball, cool, build up, bro, guys putting his hands up like, who wants the ball? You know what I mean? Because Enzo is now forced to go up there. Gallagher's sitting deep as that guy, but he's not.
He's hiding behind him.
You understand what I'm saying? And I saw this a lot, and I'm glad that you agree, because it's like no one sees this other side of Gallagher. And it's not like a personal thing, because people are like, you know, you get so much hate. I'm like, it's not hate, bro, it's critique. This is your job, and, you know, as viewers, we have that ability and right to critique the players. So that's my chat about Gallagher. Not to say he has no place in the team. I think he has a place off the bench. We're chasing a game. We need work rates and hard workers. There's always a spot for that. There's always a space for that. But I say drop Enzo in deep next to Caicedo, get a relationship going. Play Palmer in that position where Caicedo is forced up. You know what I mean? That's another guy. I haven't seen that much of him, but that's what we got him for, isn't it?
I want to get to Palmer.
Jump in, bro.
But allow me just to finish off on the Gallagher chat.
Fair.
You make all 100 like top takes on Gallagher, and I agree with him 100%, which is why I say, I mean, the rhetoric hasn't changed. I just warm up to him for the fact that, you know, at least if it's a net neutral, like on the ball, in the sense that it's sideways or it's backwards, but he's not losing it, but it's a positive in the sense that he can press and tackle. You know, does it cut it for a starting Chelsea midfielder? No, but you know, fair enough.
He could be doing worse, basically. Okay, I hear that.
That's his game. But yeah, I mean, as far as Palmer adopting that position, I'm so much of a proponent for it. You
love the tickers. You love the ticker players, and I understand it. I do get it. I do get it. It's needed sometimes.
He's techie, and he takes a chance.
Yes,
he's very positive. He's like João Felix in some sense. The way I look at him, like the English João Felix, like
which is why you're sad to lose him. I remember when we had that discussion.
Yes. I was so sad. Like, granted, we knew it was a loan. It was never really likely to materialize into anything.
Especially for that price. It's like 80 mil they were quoting or something.
But I would have at least liked to see like a lot more minutes from him. But
100%.
You know, Cole Palmer, very positively inclined. Looks like he wants to get a shot on, take a man on. He looks a bit selfish. But, you know, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater type beat. So I'm back in. What are your thoughts on it?
Fair. I haven't seen that much of him. I think, fair, like in that position, I felt like there was a lot of other players we could have got that had more experience. But, you know, we have what we have. It was a pricey kind of buy. 45 mil for someone who doesn't have many appearances. These all sound like negatives, but they're just facts for me. But you listen, we have the guy, so we may as well use him.
Yeah.
I say put him in that position. He looks kind of ready. He seems confident from what I've seen every time he comes on, especially even for City in such a team. You know what I mean? That goal against Arsenal in the Community Shield was really good, especially at a time when he needed a goal. He came through. So, like, I think, yeah, we have nothing to lose to play. Exactly, 100%, and that's how I feel about him, and I'll form a stronger opinion when I've seen a few more minutes off him. So yeah, that's my sentiments. I mean, the positives in this team for me, right? I'll go for Gusto and Sterling. They seem to be our most lively players, and every bit of creation's coming from that side, which makes it a bit predictable, which is my issue as well. But it's something. Do you have anything to add on that?
I mean, Gusto and Sterling, yeah, they've been pretty solid. I think Gusto is well rounded. I do think that you know, he's struck a good sort of bout of form. I think the creativity from his side is spurred on, number one, because Sterling is doing a lot, but 100%. Also number two, that his positioning is great. I think over the long run, you're likely to see him, I wouldn't say taper off, like, you know, the guy's just gonna be a boring player, but, you know, plateau as far as creativity is concerned, because he seems very, like, you know, just chilled. He doesn't seem like he's doing like
he does
Alex
what he needs
Arnold.
to do. I hear you.
He does what he needs to do.
So, like, because we've seen so much like bad football for so long that we've forgotten like what the basics are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And we're happy to see gents do the basics. So is it a case of this guy's just doing his job and we're very happy about that, or is he actually something special? And
maybe
like
a bit of both.
It might be a bit of both.
Maybe a bit of both. You know, he does show, like, you know, potential to do something. But yeah, I'm a fan of Gusto. I do think, looking at, just going back a couple points, the addition of Cole Palmer into, I guess, an attacking midfield role will also complement Jackson very well.
I pray it does, because that's what I feel like he's been missing. But keep going.
Exactly. And for me, I'm not surprised that you don't say Jackson when you're mentioning Chelsea's like more positive players. I think there's a bit of underappreciation from the fan base. I think if you look at it, I was reading a stat about how he, in the Premier League, he produces, up to this point, has produced the most forward runs.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And the most, like, so
100%.
His running, and it's not always for the end product, right? Sometimes it's to open up the space between your defensive mids and your back four, such so that Cole Palmer has space to play around with it. He can chip something in the back. He can, like, take a shot from outside the box.
Yeah, exactly, which is what we looked to in Kunku for, but obviously the injuries. Exactly. And we had that chat about this, like, briefly in private, where I mentioned that we felt like he was missing that person to drop in for him and fill in those spaces, because he seems to be overcompensating in that sense. The guy is quite a workhorse. Like, he's a guy who seems to be pushing all the time, and I feel like that's why he misses some of the chances that he does. I don't think it's all down to being clinical. Partially, he could be more clinical, fair, but I don't think it's the same case as our previous strikers we've had, where they just completely lacked clinicality or whatever. I think it's down to the fact that he's been doing so much work previously that he comes into a position where it's like, now I've got to get in there and score after starting this chance in the first place. And he lunges at it, or he's gone past it, or he's behind where the ball's put, you know what I mean? So I think that's the case. And definitely, I missed out on him as a positive. I think he's definitely a positive. And it all just goes down, all of these problems I've been mentioning just goes back to Poch and how he sets up. And in the sense that it feels like he's anchoring these players and he's kind of handicapping them, in the sense that it's like, I think he's overcomplicating certain things. Like, for example, if we look at Chilwell, which is playing in that really advanced inverted winger / secondary striker, I don't know where this guy is role. He seems to be overcomplicating the situation, in the sense that if we look at him in pre-season, that just wasn't the case. Shaw was getting quite advanced in pre-season from what I remember, but he still had his defensive responsibilities, and there wasn't this huge, like, gap between him and Colwell when it came to, like, defending against counter-attacks and stuff. We saw that in the Liverpool game a lot. It was Colwell versus Salah. I'm like, my days, why is this guy so isolated? What's going on? So yeah, in that sense, I think he could make things simpler by, I can't say exactly what he could do, but if I compare him to, like, a coach, like someone who's done well this season so far, Ange Postecoglou for Tottenham. When I looked at some of his training sessions and what he's been saying, it's crazy. Like, guy would just be like, just get the ball from here to here in 3 seconds. Done. Play simple, move the ball fast. We'll start there, then we'll start to build up. Especially when you come in as a new coach into a new team. Sure, it's different personalities. Some coaches have different philosophies, etc., etc. But like seeing how they play, I'm such a fan of simple football. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Especially when you have players that have ability, it builds confidence, and that's my worry. If we stay like this for too long, I do not want us to get into a rut. Okay. Especially for someone like Jackson, where it's important, you know what I mean, to be confident as a striker.
Yes.
And now he starts second guessing himself, like, oh damn, am I really that decent? You know, I started off positively, I want to score, but now it's not happening for me. And that's like the worst situation to get into. Same thing with Mudryk. He's not even getting starts, you know what I mean? He needs someone who seems to play off confidence, looking at the way he played in preseason and for Ukraine. So that's my biggest issue, and I hope Poch can rectify that relatively quickly by getting stuff sorted. And we're just not going to see it, guys. I just don't think we're going to see it anytime soon. Maybe it needs to lock in, like you said. We stick with what's going on right now, and just over time it gets better, or Poch changes things. Like, what's your opinion on that?
Like, as fans, we tend to see a lot of things one way, and I think a fan consensus just reflects one perspective, and that's what we see during the 90 minutes of a game, right? And so we tend to settle on a consensus, and I think it's never that simple. I think someone who plays into like the like, I think Lampard was a guy who like played into what everyone thought we should be doing. He was very conventional in the way we played. If people thought that a certain player should be playing on account of having good form or something like that, he would play the guy. There was nothing too special about our tactics, and I think that didn't get us very far.
100%.
Whereas
need the balance. I think
you do need the balance, because a lot of the managers that do well, I think, go against the grain and are very unconventional in the sense of like, dude, Tuchel, like, Kai Havertz didn't come to fruition, but Tuchel took a chance on him and took a chance and took a chance.
And he did come clutch at certain times, guys. We have to be honest and admit that, You
understand? And Tuchel's changes were a bit radical, just in terms of, like, I thought by that point in the career, it was Tomori days, it was Thiago days. And he said, listen, we don't do this youth thing. Rudiger's coming back in.
Kovac is coming back in.
Kova's coming back.
Alonso started as well.
At a time, I had written these guys off. So I think when you build a system, it's almost like, you have to stick by your guns and have confidence in that system will work as a manager, irrespective of what fans are saying.
100%.
And playing into the conventional sort of, this guy should be starting, or Poch always does a 4-2-3-1. He should be playing 4-2-3. Maybe that's not the system he's building, on the basis that he's identified that
this is our team. This is what's happened.
So
Premier League's changed since the last time he was there as well. 100%.
I would give it time, especially because it's a cause that I'm willing to give time to. There's certain causes where you can see that this thing is not really going anywhere. We've at least got possession. We've got,
actually, yes, which I wanted to go to, the stats. Possession, we've got chances created, we're topping, we're just not putting away. Like you mentioned, individually with Jackson making the most forward runs as our striker, we've got advanced
Sterling
passes,
take-ons. He's improved those stats since
100%, dramatically. So like pretty much topping the stats. I wonder if there's a Squawker football analysis thing with all of the stats that we're actually doing well in. The only one we're out of the top 10 for is finishing, pretty much. Shots on target, actually, yes. But there is a net positive. We are better than last season. I can say that overall. So I mean, listen, you kind of changed my perspective on that in a sense. So if we stick on that, if we stick to what Poch is doing now, I guess I won't be too mad. Granted, I gotta see some kind of upwards trajectory.
No, true.
At least.
No, true.
It would be nice to see Palmer start, and I'll be like, okay, at least we can get this guy starting, it'll be fine, and then everyone else can stay the same. Cool. Granted, it's like, cool, I get tired when I see Gallagher starting, and I see Enzo up there, and then I see Chilwell. I'm like, okay, fine. All I ask, at least, please, like, Poch, if you see this someday, whatever, at some point, Palmer, just at least, just to give Jackson that little bit, just, help him, you know what I mean? 100%. So that's my consensus, dude. Pray for Bournemouth. Let's go.
Please, let's get the stuff.
Let's get the stuff. Please. Wait, quick thing. Score predictions for you.
We are saying Jeez, where do I even start with that one? I don't know how.
I'm gonna jump in. Okay, I'm gonna say 2-1 to Chelsea.
Okay.
I say Sterling gets on the score sheet. Second goal, I'm gonna say Chilwell. I think eventually these chances that are flying into him, something will bounce off his foot or his head and go in, bro. At this point,
Chilwell is the next Marcos Alonso. Mark my words.
Here's my thing. Don't break my heart, because even Marcus, if I saw Marcus in this position, guaranteed he'd be top goal scorer.
He would.
I'm 110% sure Haaland would be looking behind the shoulder like, yo, bro. Oh
but
man,
he's got that left foot on him the same way as Marcus, bro. He hits it.
Fair to an extent, but I still think Marcus has got that edge, bro. He's got that grace and the timing.
Yeah,
he runs into the box the way he does, bro.
My boy, out of screens.
I'm like, wait, who's this Jin? And it's like, he knows the ball's gonna be here. I'm gonna be there.
Time,
100%.
I would say 1-0 to Chelsea. Not a high scoring game.
Yeah.
I think maybe we would have done some work at the back as far as Disasi is concerned, and you know, just sitting a bit deeper. I don't think it's going to be an exciting game, but I back us to take the dub.
Fair. That's it for today's segment. Please drop your comments in, drop the likes in, hit us with the sub. If you like content like this, let us know. You can always come back to Bluebird to see more. So cheers from Zens.
Yeah, see you folks.
Yes, sir.